Here is my project one, week one. Got my link right here, so it's on renders. It's my account, gateway pathway. All right, so here's that. I'm not clicking it again because we just kept loading. So anyway, so I got this right here. Let's test out the contacts. Come on, wasting my time. Contacts. Oh, so this is the single one. That's the ID for one of the objects, and I'll show you right now. That's not what I meant to do though. All right, here's three. There's one person right there, one contact, two contacts, three contacts. I'm going to take a new ID from one of these guys so we can do the single search. Same thing right there. Put in the ID. Here you have it. It was Steve who I took it from. There it is. So that's that. Let's go over API endpoints I just showed you, and I'll go through this in a little bit. But first, all right, so as you can see, I have all my code sorted out in an organized fashion following the, I think it's called MVC. Yeah, MVC architecture structure. My server, that's basically the startup point. Then I have the git ignore, it's ignoring node modules, and the NV or env file, so it doesn't get tracked. Here I got my variables. Don't really use that one, it's not really needed, but for it. And then my MongoDB URI, that'll take me straight into my project one. And then just to quickly show that it's that one, here is this connect. And then so I have it on CSE341 project one, and there it is. Okay, so let's go over this code. Basically, how this starts up is right here. First, we import everything we need, the express, and then the routes, which is basically this folder right here. And because it's going to take me straight into the index, but we'll go more into that. .env, so I can configure the environment variables. Anyway, got that, so we actually configure that. And then we initialize, express, or create the app. First thing that happens is the app will go into this. Use pretty much happens for every request or every request. So when this thing first starts up, it'll go into this and it'll initialize routes, which will take me then here. And when we are here at the home page, the first thing it does is says, welcome to CSE API, whatever. That's what we just saw the first time when we first initialized it. It took me straight here and did that. We then typed in contacts. So every time we get into contact or make a request and this matches the URL, it's going to use this router right here. And again, this is the main router, which holds the, I guess, router objects for any other route that we would have over here. So this one's going to jump in here. And again, get all. That's the first thing it's going to do the moment that we do this, because it's the main contacts page, which is basically this one. So when that happens, we're going to go into the, we're going to pull the get all function, which we imported right here. And that is right here. Scroll up, get all. So right here, what happens is using the database, we're going to call in the get DB function that we defined right over here, right here. Oh, actually, one last thing, initialize the server. So in order for that to actually work, this must work. And this happens before all that stuff. But anyway, when the project starts, the database is also started, and that's what happens here. We initialize or we download again the database file right here, which contains the functions for it, and we have the initialized one, which is right here. It's going to check this to see if database has already been initialized, and if it hasn't, it's going to basically create it right here using the URI that we had in the env file. It'll store it into the DB client. And so by the time that we use any get router or get requests that actually pull the functions, or not the functions, the database stuff, whatever. It's going to then use this one, get DB, and check if it's initialized. If it's not initialized, it'll throw in an error. In our case, it's just going to continue on with the DB client. So back to this. That's where we left off. It's then going to go into the database and pull the contacts inside the what's this? Inside that database, it's looking for this contacts one, and it's going to turn that result into an array by basically converting all the different pieces that are in there into their own separate objects. And so here we then get contacts and we will pretty much pull it with the status 200. So to do the single one, it's kind of the same thing, except we're using this object ID. So this pulls the parameter from the URL that we search in the browser, and it'll turn it into an object. And where do we use it? Right here, contact ID. And so when we're looking into this collection right here, we're looking for a specific ID inside that collection. And again, it turns it into an array, and it's basically the first one there. So this is the one that the array that it returns, it's going to have this specific one, and it's just going to return that first one. And that's pretty much how it works. So right here, we submitted a GET request to the home page. Again, it took me into the routes, which took me into the index, which took me to the main initial GET function for whenever it's basically a slash. And again, it returns this message. You send a GET request with the contacts, and that'll go into the routes, which goes into the controller, which goes into the database that uses the get all function. Now we search up an ID in that same collection, and there it is.